Every man has a dark side. Some are naturally drawn to it, whereas others spend their lives running away from it. But what if I told you that darkness doesn't have to be a bad thing? On the contrary, embracing our dark side can help us become better men and lead to a safer society. In today's video, I'm going to explain to you what dark masculinity is, why it's an essential part of being a man, and I'll share some steps so that you can unlock this vital, potent energy. To define dark masculinity, let's compare it to an idea of light masculinity. To me, light masculinity is the smiling president or the college football coach. He values love, kindness, and leadership. He values grace, dignity. He's also not afraid of his emotions and feeling empathy for others. On social media, you might have seen this kind of man described as a golden retriever, although I like to think of him more like a Disney prince. On the other hand, the dark masculine man is fiery, ambitious. He puts himself first. He's confident, assertive, and bold. He's passionate though. He's also mysterious, seductive. He has his desires, and he seeks to attain them with careful planning and then aggressive action. He's not afraid to test his own limits and to test the limits of what's possible in this world. I like to think of this character more as a James Bond type of man, or to use the dog metaphor, a German shepherd. Now here's something that's very important to understand. If we do not develop and even embrace our dark side, we can never truly provide greatness for ourselves, for our family, or our community. In fact, it's this boldness, the confidence and assertiveness that comes with dark masculinity that will help you unlock the things that you want and the things that you must provide to others. The man who exists solely in his light masculine energy will never be taken seriously by the world, will never achieve what he wants, and will live as a servant to the desires of others. On the other hand, the man who understands and embraces his dark masculine energy understands that being assertive, being cunning, and even aggressive at times are all essential parts of being a man. Just because you embrace your dark masculine energy, it doesn't mean you need to be manipulative. It doesn't mean you need to do anything dangerous or cruel. Instead, qualities that we can describe as dark are simply a natural part of existence. And it's important that we control our dark side and keep this danger in check. Otherwise, we would become bad people, even criminal. Think of dark masculinity like this snarling German shepherd. But every responsible owner knows that these types of dogs need to be highly trained and walked on a leash in public. That is exactly how you are going to train and harness your dark masculine energy. So now it's time to understand and embrace this power within you with a few key steps. Here's the first one. As a man, do not be afraid to be the bad guy. You do not have to be liked by anyone. In fact, as soon as you make even the slightest mark on this world, you will be disliked by some. I quote you Aristotle: "There is only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing." So do not run from disapproval. In fact, disapproval may simply be a sign that you are doing something that's finally worthwhile. Think of a politician. The more power they get, the more hated they become. And the levels of hate they receive are not necessarily correspondent to the actions that they perform as president. It's more often a reflection of the levels of power they have. A president is always going to have more haters than a city council member, just as a result of his platform and his status. This doesn't mean that you can't seek guidance and counsel from those that you respect. But don't be afraid of opinions that come from people you don't even know and you don't even care for. The opinions of other people are a form of bondage that will stop you in your pursuit of becoming a better man. A key step in embracing your dark masculinity is to leverage the power of your competence. Think about a character like Don Draper or James Bond. They often display qualities that are highly unprofessional and would get most people in their positions fired. However, they don't get fired because they are the only people that can do their jobs to that level of skill. When you are competent, you have options. And when you have options, then you have power. However, I do warn you, especially if you're a younger man, you cannot afford to throw your toys out of the pram if you do not yet have power to leverage, if you do not yet have value to offer. This is the reason why men stay in bad relationships, shitty jobs. Yes, they could theoretically walk away, but what other options do they have? Perhaps it's worse to be single than to be with a woman who's bad for you. And indeed, it's worse to be unemployed than to have a job that sucks away your soul. This is why it's so important that as men, we always improve our skills, our network, and expand our opportunities. Then you will finally be in your dark masculine power to walk away if your terms are not met. Yes, you may break hearts. Yes, other people may lose money, but you will prosper. Assertiveness is often described as an essential masculine trait. But what exactly does assertiveness mean? Well, in 1978, a study established the dimensions of assertiveness, which include the willingness to take risk, the ability to communicate one's desires, the ability to set and impose rules, and the tendency to invoke a self-punitive attitude. So if you want to know whether or not you are really assertive, ask yourself these questions. Would you stand up for yourself if somebody pushed ahead of you in line? Would you take a purchase back to the store if it were defective? If you were upset with your partner, could you express and communicate that effectively? And do you apologize to make others feel better? Or do you only apologize when you genuinely see you're at fault? A key part of assertiveness is this ability to fight for yourself and to tell others no, which requires sometimes being seen as the bad guy. But assertiveness can also be used to defend and to serve others. I'll give you a very basic example. I was recently at a coffee shop with a lady I know very well, and she wanted to use the bathroom. Now, it wasn't obvious within this coffee shop where the bathroom was. There was no sign, no door. She didn't feel confident or didn't want to actually go up and ask somebody for help. She just isn't that kind of assertive person that would do that. So as a man, I used my assertive nature to go up to the person and say, "Excuse me, where is the restroom?" And then I was able to show it to her. So being assertive isn't about bullying. It's not about imposing your will on others. It's actually a very important power that you can use to help other people. And you can express your assertiveness in a way that suits your personality. Sometimes raising an eyebrow is just as powerful as raising your voice. And assertiveness also comes through in the way you communicate. It's important to be direct and be precise with your speech. Never over-apologize or over-explain. Instead, say what you need to say in simple terms that will be understood the first time. An essential part of dark masculinity is being a little more private and mysterious. Not everything you do or feel needs to be shared. Instead, the dark masculine man works in silence and allows his results, not his words, to speak for him. The truth is, not everybody wants the best for you. Most people want the version of you that is best for them. Let me give you an example of this. When I had a full-time job and I was working on this channel, I never once told my employer or any of my co-workers what I was doing in my free time. Why? Well, as things developed, as the YouTube channel took over and became a priority for me, I was taking time away from work to spend on this channel. That was clearly where my future was heading. It was more advantageous for me. Now, when my bosses noticed a decline in the quality of my work or my enthusiasm for this job, they had nothing to point the finger on. They couldn't understand it. They had no obvious thing to blame. Now, if I told them about this side project that I was very excited about, that I was devoting my time and energy to, then they would understand exactly what was up, and they might have run out of patience much sooner than they did. In fact, I never once told them about it, even after I handed in my resignation. So it's very important to practice setting boundaries and deadlines of when you will actually share something. For example, in a dating scenario, there might be something about your family life that you say, "I'm only going to reveal after the 5th date," or "I'm only going to reveal this if we enter a committed relationship." And there's a sly, secret advantage to being more mysterious and private. The less people know about you, the more they will fill in these gaps of knowledge with an idealized version of you, making you seem only more virtuous and perfect. Don't rush in to shatter these illusions. Instead, play your cards a little closer to your chest. My final piece of advice for a man looking to embrace his dark masculinity is to focus on player one. You are the only character in this game of life that you can control, and therefore you must come first. But you doesn't just mean you as an individual, it also means your family, it also means your community, and any other organizations that you lead. Defend this kingdom and make it an absolute priority. At the same time, it's okay to selfishly focus on building yourself up, because the better you become, the stronger you become, the more you can support others, and the more good, the more force and power for positive change you will have in the world. The ultimate man is a blend of both light and dark masculine traits. However, I do notice that many men today lack the confidence, the assertiveness, and the mystery to unlock the dark side of their personality. If you feel like this is something you could do with further help with, then please do join our private community using the link down below. Not only are you going to get access to a private network of gentlemen around the world with whom you can grow, with whom you can level up, but you're also going to receive a free 2-hour video course that I filmed called The Gentleman Method. This is a free self-improvement video course that expands greatly on many of the ideas I've discussed in my YouTube videos, and there's also the added benefit of there being deliberate action steps so that you can really see results. You will find the link to this down below, and I very much look forward to seeing you in there and helping you become the man you know you want to be.